Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, uncle. Please accept our humble obeisances.
कैसे हो?
Fine, uncle. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll chant one round of Maha Mantra, and then we will continue with our usual program. So thank you for joining, everyone, and hope more devotees will join soon.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram
Okay, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So welcome to Friday program. Thank you so much for joining. I see we have Suvrat, Anil Uncle, Smita Auntie, Ajay Prabhu, Nina Mataji, Anasuya Mataji, of course, she's the speaker for today. Thank you Mataji for joining. Thank you so much, we welcome you again. Bhavya, Beena Mataji, Govind, Ram Babu Prabhu, Tunga Vidya and Vrinda. So we really hope more devotees will join. Very, very important topic today from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, which is once again Karma Yoga, that is action in Krishna consciousness. So in chapter 3, few weeks or a couple of months back, we discussed Karma Yoga. Then in chapter 4, we discussed Jnana Yoga. And there is a reason why this has been structured, why Srila Vyadva is in a particular order. And then again now we are back to Karma Yoga, which is now with better understanding after we understand or know more about Krishna, what he likes, what he dislikes, and what is favorable to him, what is not favorable to him. After understanding that, we are again back to discuss the Karma Yoga. And Srila Prabhupada has named the chapter as the Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Very, very potent description. So I will let Mataji take over now and, enlighten us with the teachings from chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita. So Mataji, whenever you are ready, I will share the screen.
Thank you,
with
Prabhu.
the verses. Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We will start with a short Jai Radha Madhava, and then we will go into the class. So I don't know, Prabhu, if you would like me to sing or if you would like one of the kids to sing. Which one?
Okay, that's a good proposal. So any kid who would like to sing Jai Radha Madhav? We have Govind, Bhavya. I see 2 kids for now, and of course Suvrat. Suvrat and Govind are more like youth now.
I know, no more kids, my gosh,
Yeah.
they're all growing up.
So it's up to you, Mataji. I don't think
Okay, I'll sing. That's fine. Thank you, Prabhu. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya, Gurudeva Jaya, Gurudeva Jaya, Gurudeva Nittai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nittai Gaura Haribo, Nittai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nittai Gaura Haribo. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parangavacharya Stotra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shil Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachachate Shatarane. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear Krishna Prabhu, for giving me this opportunity to serve Berks Bhakti Yoga. I feel like it's been ages, eons that I haven't been able to come down, actually to connect with the devotees, let alone come down or come up to Reading. So it's been a long time, but I'm happy to see the devotees online. At least I get to see them. So today we'll be speaking on chapter 5, verse 1 and verse 2. So if you can open the verse, the text 1, Prabhu, and we can chant the Sanskrit and the word for word translation, and then we'll go on to the reading and the lecture. Arjuna Huvacha Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shamsasi Yachreya atayor ekam Tanme bruhi sunischitam Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shamsasi Yachreya etayor ekam Tanme bruhi sunischitam. Is anyone would like to take the opportunity to chant?
Sanyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha shansasi yacheya etayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam.
Arjuna Vacha Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha samshasi Yatshreya etayorekam Tanme bruhi sunishitam.
Arjuna Vacha Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha samsasi Yakshaya etayorekam Tanme bruhi sunishitam.
I would like to hear from the women.
Arjuna Vacha Samjasham Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha samsashi Yachreya etyor ekam Tanme bruhi sunishitam.
Can we have one more, Mataji? It's an equal opportunity employer here, so please do chant. Yes, Madhu. Please go ahead, Madhu Mataji.
Sanyasam karmana Krishna Punriyogam cha shansasi Yachreya etyorekam Tanme bruhi sunischitam.
Thank you, Mataji.
Haribol.
Haribol. It's so nice to hear both the men and the... Oh, Bina's going to chant. Haribol, Bina. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna Uvacha Sannyasam Karmam Krishna Punar Yogam Cha Samasasi Yach Charya Etyor Ekam Tanme Bruhisu Nishchitam.
Haribol. Very nice. It's always nice to hear the women also chant, because Prabhupada always used to, whenever he would give class, and when the men chant, he'll say, okay, ladies, your turn. He'd always have the women chant. He never not let the women not chant. So it's very important that the women also chant. So thank you so much. We can go down. Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna said, Sannyasam, renunciation, karmanam, of all activities, Krishna, O Krishna, punaha, again, yogam, devotional service, cha, also, shamsasi, you are praising, yat, which, shreya is more beneficial, etayo, of these two, ekam, one, tat, that, me, unto me, bruhi, please tell, sunishchitam, definitely. Translation, Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work. And then again, you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In this 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that work in devotional service is better than dry mental speculation. Devotional service is easier than the latter because, being transcendental in nature, it frees one from reaction. In the 2nd chapter, preliminary knowledge of the soul and its entanglement in the material body were explained. How to get out of this material engagement by Buddhi Yoga or devotional service was also explained therein. In the 3rd chapter, it was explained that a person who is situated on the platform of knowledge no longer has any duties to perform. And in the 4th chapter, the Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge. However, at the end of the 4th chapter, the Lord advised Arjuna to wake up and fight, being situated in perfect knowledge. Therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of both work in devotion and inaction in knowledge, Krishna has perplexed Arjuna and confused his determination. Arjuna understands that renunciation in knowledge involves cessation of all kinds of work performed as sense activities. But if one performs work in devotional service, then how is work stopped? In other words, he thinks that sannyas or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activity, because work and renunciation appeared to him to be incompatible. He appears not to have understood that work in full knowledge is non-reactive and is therefore the same as inaction. He inquires, therefore, whether he should cease work altogether or work with full knowledge. Prabhu, we'll go to the next verse. And Prabhu, you wanted to say something, bro?
Just one thing that came to my
memory
quickly. One devotee, a very senior devotee, once said that most of the devotees, in fact, or more than 90% of the devotees, they are unable to go beyond chapter 4. What he meant by that is in terms of practice. So he kind of challenged that if we really want to progress, then after chapter 4 comes the real challenge, because as we see, even Arjuna is getting perplexed now with the instructions. So just wanted to remind everyone that it's now going to be a little tough journey, and it's a challenge for all of us that if we really want to progress, then we have to make sure we understand the following chapter very, very nicely. We can read it multiple times, but understanding is the key here. So just wanted to remind myself, Mataji.
That's a good point, because now it's the action part. Action means physical movement. practical. So yes, that is always the difficult part. Yeah, thank you.
Sure,
I'm thinking, Prabhu, to finish the next verse and then speak. Rather than, because I don't want to not lose the contents. So verse 2, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyascha Karafubhav Tayostu Karma Sannyasat Karma Yoga Visheshyate. I'll just go into this breakdown. That way we don't have to take so much time, Prabhu. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, the personality of Godhead, said, Sannyasa, renunciation of work. Karma Yoga, work in devotion. Cha, also. Nishresaya Karo, leading to the path of liberation. Ubhau, both. Tayo, of the two. Two, but. Karma Sannyasat, in comparison to the renunciation of fruitive work. Karma Yoga, work in devotion. Vishishyate, is better. Translation, the personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation, but of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Fruitive activities seeking sense gratification are cause for material bondage. As long as one is engaged in activities aimed at improving the standard of bodily comfort, one is sure to transmigrate to different types of bodies, thereby continuing material bondage perpetually. Srimad Bhagavatam 5:5-4-6 confirms this as follows. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yat indriya pritaya apronoti na sadhu manya yata atmanuyam asan api klesha dasa deha parabhavas tavad atmodajato yavanna jinyasate atma tattvam yavat kriyas tavad idam manovai karmatmakam yena sharira bhanda evam mana karma vasam prayungte avidya yat manyo, that's an interesting word, avidya yat manyo padiyamane pritirna yavan mai vasudeve na muchayate deha yogane tavat. People are mad after sense gratification, and they do not know that this present body, which is full of miseries, is a result of one's fruitive activities in the past. Although this body is temporary, it is always giving one trouble in many ways. Therefore, to act for sense gratification is not good. One is considered to be a failure in life as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. As long as he does not know his real identity, he has to work for fruitive results for sense gratification. And as long as one is engrossed in the consciousness of sense gratification, one has to transmigrate from one body to another. Although the mind may be engrossed in fruitive activities and influenced by ignorance, one must develop a love for devotional service to Vasudeva. Only then can one have the opportunity to get out of the bondage of material existence. Therefore, Gyan, or knowledge that one is not this material body but spirit soul, is not sufficient for liberation. Very important point. One has to act in the status of spirit soul. Otherwise, there is no escape from material bondage. Action in Krishna consciousness is not, however, action on the fruitive platform. Activities performed in full knowledge of strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge. Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation of fruitive activities does not actually purify the heart of a conditioned soul. As long as the heart is not purified, one has to work on the fruitive platform. But action in Krishna consciousness automatically helps one escape the result of fruitive action so that one need not descend to the material platform. Therefore, action in Krishna consciousness is always superior to renunciation, which always entails the risk of falling. Renunciation without Krishna consciousness is incomplete, as is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 12258. prapanchikayata buddhya hari sambandhi vastunaha mumuksh subhi parityago vairagyam palgu katyate. When persons are eager to achieve liberation, renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, then their renunciation is called incomplete. Renunciation is complete when it is in the knowledge that everything in existence belongs to the Lord and that no one should claim proprietorship over anything. One should understand, excuse me, that factually nothing belongs to anyone. Then where is the question? Getting some water, please, Rekha, of renunciation. One who knows that everything is Krishna's property is always situated in renunciation. Since everything belongs to Krishna, everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. This perfect form of action in Krishna consciousness is far better than any amount of artificial renunciation by a sannyasi of the Mayavadi school. Actually, as I was reading the second verse, the answers to all our bewilderment is right here. It's completely there. So I'm going to go back to the first verse and speak about that. And just to share with the devotees, this evening's lecture, every single word, every single point that I will be speaking this evening is coming straight from Srila Prabhupada. The reason being is I took his lecture. And because I really wanted, of course, want to know how Prabhupada really addressed this. And so everything here that I'm going to share is straight from Srila Prabhupada's lecture. And secondly, Krishna's mercy, I think, Krishna's, this is just Krishna's mercy, that they only have one recorded lecture of Srila Prabhupada on chapter 5, verse 1 and 2, only one. Sometimes you will see that he has spoken on this chapter and this verse like many times in other locations. But for this lecture, and he covered 2 verses, it's only one. So I said it's got to be a hot thing. So going back to verse 1, basically what the verse is telling, what Srila Prabhupada is telling us in the purport, is Krishna is saying, stop work. Just stop working. But what does he mean when he says, stop working? What he means is, when Krishna says stop working, he's saying, stop doing the nonsense work. Very simple. Stop doing the nonsense work. But what is that nonsense work? So I would like, rather than me answer the questions, I'm going to open up for answers. If the devotees can tell or share, what is the nonsense work that Srila Prabhupada is sharing here? Any volunteers?
By saying, just like Srila Prabhupada nonsense, you kind of disclosed it. Yeah, please, devotees, you can.
I just give the hint, like I just use the word nonsense. So that's yes. What is a nonsense work? Any volunteers?
Mataji, yes, is it the work that doesn't involve Krishna in the center?
Yes, absolutely. Nonsense work is material work that is sense gratification. It's all for me and there's no Krishna. Absolutely. So that is the nonsense work. That's right. So what Krishna is saying is, stop doing that nonsense work where it is just material activities of sense enjoyment. It's just for me to enjoy. It's all of I, me, mine. But why is it nonsense? Second question. Any answers from the devotees? Why is it nonsense?
Because any activity that is not done in reference to Krishna keeps us bound to this material world.
Exactly. And there's one word that Srila Prabhupada very hardly expresses, how do I say it? codes it. He said, because it is animalistic. Any work, a material activity that is done of sense enjoyment is nonsense because it's animalistic. And how is it animalistic? Because animals are always working for their sense gratification. That is why that is an animalistic life. So let's ask ourselves, what do animals do all day long? They are searching for food. Once they find the food, they rest, they sleep. Then they begin their mating, sex life. And when they get attacked, they defend. We've seen a lot of dogs, right? As soon as you try to go close to them, they bark at us. They are defending, right? And once they have done their defending, they get tired, they sleep. So what are they doing? They are sleeping. They're searching for food, eating. They've got the belly stuff. They're mating. When they get attacked, they're defending. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That is animalistic life. People, humans who are engaged in material activities of sense enjoyment, they are also engaged in the same thing: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And how are humans eating? They have to go to work. They get a salary. They make sure they get food, you know, and they've eaten. So they eat. Once the belly is full, they take a nap. They're sleeping. Once they want to enjoy their senses or their material desires, they mate, sex life. Once they feel, oh my God, you know, this person is really trying to take my job from me, they go attack. The whole life is about earning money, growing up the success ladder, you know, the success ladder, and trying to climb up because they want to get higher. So they're always trying to fight with somebody how to grow, how to get higher in the success ladder. They get more salary, again, feed, again, sleep, same thing. It's a routine. But there's one thing Srila Prabhupada says that differs us from the animals. Between the humans and the animals, there's one thing that we can do that they cannot do, meaning the animals cannot do. What is that one thing? Any volunteers?
Our consciousness.
Close. Pretty close.
Our intelligence. No.
You're getting closer.
I don't know. I'm not very sure. I'm sorry for that. When I was listening to Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada's lecture. There he says that the thing that distinguishes human society from animal society is religion.
That's it. That's the answer. We can take the spirit life and they cannot.
Oh.
We can chant and they cannot chant. So we can take the spiritual life and animals cannot take the spiritual life. So once we take the spiritual life, then we are not in the animalistic life anymore. So Srila Prabhupada says, when Krishna says stop work, what he means is stop working like a dog, pretty much. Stop working like an animal, stop living an animalistic life and take up spiritual life. And if we see, Prabhupada says, here in this verse, Arjuna is asking a question. Prabhupada even said in his lecture that I was reading last night, that Arjuna was playing the role of a common man, like a fool, asking Krishna all these questions. It's not like Arjuna that doesn't know the answer. This is all planned by the Lord. Now imagine if Arjuna did not ask all these questions, will there have been a Bhagavad Gita? Definitely not. So all this was planned because Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He can do whatever he wants. So Arjuna is playing the role of a common man, of a confused, perplexed, like it says here, Krishna has perplexed Arjuna and confused him. So Arjuna was playing the role of a common man, very confused, very perplexed, asking all these questions for benefit. So imagine this was all planned by the Lord 5,000 years ago. The whole battle took place 5,000 years ago. All this questioning of the Bhagavad Gita took place 5,000 years ago. And all these questions is there for our benefit so that we can learn that, you know, because who would have known that 5,000 years later, we're going to go through all these questions, which is good, which is bad, which is better, which is, you know, Krishna, Supreme Lord, he can see everything. So he said that Arjuna played this role for our benefit because knowing that we are also going to experience such confused questions. So Srila Prabhupada said, stop the material work and don't work like animals. That is the goal of a human. But now one may ask, if I stop working the material work and don't work like animals, then what do I do? What is next? Srila Prabhupada says, find positive engagement. Unless we have positive engagement, we cannot stop ourselves from being caught in the material activities looking for fame and adoration. So let's use the example of Duryodhana. All right. Duryodhana was a warrior. He was a very, you know, sometimes when we see the Mahabharata, B.R. Chopra, you know, we can see that Duryodhana was a very powerful warrior. But if we read the Mahabharata, he was a very strong, powerful warrior. But his consciousness was not positively engaged. Because it was not positively engaged, he was always trying to kill the Pandavas. Why? One side he had Shakuni, one side he had Dushasan, one side he had Karan, one side he has his father who was blind and full of ambition. So he was already surrounded by non-positive engagement and association. So what was his focus? If I don't become king, I will be mad. If I don't become king, I will kill myself. If I don't become king, I will jump in the Ganga, all kinds of stuff, because that was his focus. Why? Because he did not know how to use what he was given by the Lord and positive engagement. The reason being, he was acting like an animal. He was literally acting like an animal. But had he, and because he was acting in that animalistic life, his only focus was, I gotta be king, I gotta be king, I gotta be king. If I don't be king, I'm gonna be mad. So that's a very clear example how what Srila Prabhupada is saying is, if we stop working material work and not work like animals, then what is next? We have to find positive engagement. Now, if we go to verse 2, Dekricha Prabhu, if you don't mind switching to, thank you, Prabhu. So verse 2 is all the answer. Like I said, if we really go line by line, you know, like really, I mean, study line by line, it's really powerful. Here it's talking about renunciation. So let me ask one of you, what is the definition of renunciation? You can Google it if you want, but what is the definition of renunciation?
I might not be able to give the real, but Google definitely dictionary meaning is, I think, to give up.
Yeah, that's fine. Because I think sometimes it's, you know, it's important that we really know what the word actually means to connect to what Prabhupada is saying, you know, because sometimes we say, oh, it's a big word, but what does it mean? Well, let's find out. So any volunteers to tell me what is the meaning, the definition of renunciation from google.com?
Doing without expecting any return.
Exactly. And we can also add and say is the act of abandoning, not expecting anything in return, with the act of relinquishing, stripping ourselves out of any attachments. abandoning and sacrificing without expecting no returns at all. That is not renunciation. Now, if we go to the first line of the purport, what did Prabhupada says? Fruitive activities are the cause of material bondage. What is the fruitive activity? Working like an animal. Very simple. Fruitive activity, seeking sense gratification. Whenever we see the word seeking sense gratification, it's all, what is Srila Prabhupada saying is, it's for our sense enjoyment. How am I going to benefit? What about what I want? What about what I desire? What about my, dreams, my likings, my, so and so forth. So that is animalistic life. So what Srila Prabhupada is saying is, the mind is always absorbed on how to be the enjoyer. The mind is a rascal. I don't know which word is in the Bhagavad Gita, but Srila Prabhupada says the mind is such a rascal. You have to control it like how you're holding the reins of the horses. Like you got to say, hey, I'm going to catch hold of you like this. It is a rascal. So the mind is always thinking, how do I satisfy myself? How do I satisfy myself? How do I make myself complete? How do I make myself wholesome in this and that? And the mind is always thinking. That is the material bondage. And Srila Prabhupada says, and as long as we are engaged in such activities, it is where we are going to be perpetually binded in this material bondage. There's no getting out of it. So material bondage, and I really like how Srila Prabhupada, mentioned in his lecture, and it's so funny. When I was reading it, I completely relate to it. Srila Prabhupada was saying, many people want to come to America. I know when my dad came to America, when he first came to America, his brother, my dad's oldest brother, came in 1974. My father came in 89. And at that time, he was told by his brother and, a couple of friends, oh, there's milk and honey on the road, or gold coins or something like that. And of course, not literally. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, is people wish and they pray to come to America, thinking that there are so many benefits in America. There may be material benefits, but there are benefits to becoming an American. And what Srila Prabhupada says is, but what is so funny is whether we are in America, Africa, China, India, Europe, we all have the same material difficulties. There's no different. It might be a different environment, different bodies, different people, different cars, different homes, but the material difficulties are the same. There's nothing different. Now, what is very interesting is Srila Prabhupada says, anywhere you go, in any country, there will always be the 4 principles of misery. Birth, death, old age, and disease. It's not like when we go to Europe, we are free from death. Any country we go to, we are going to be faced with all these 4. There's nothing that we can escape from. So Srila Prabhupada says, then why is it that we think that this country is better than that country when the 4 miseries are in all the countries in the world? So then Srila Prabhupada says, okay, let's analyze birth. Giving birth in America and giving birth in China is the same process of delivery. It's either normal or C-section. There is no magic in giving birth. Same, right? Death, there's no change. We die at the same time. Old age, we all get old. It's not like people in Africa get older quicker than people in China. No, eventually we're going to get old. And the disease, we have COVID all over the world. Name me which country that is free from COVID. Maybe a small case of COVID, but it's not all over the world. So Srila Prabhupada is saying is, that is material bondage. Because why? The mind is thinking, oh, if I go there, I get more benefit. If I go there, I get more benefit. If I go here, I get more benefit. The mind is always thinking, how can I enjoy myself to get more out of it? So as long as we keep putting our energies and our time in that, we're going to be stuck. It's very hard to come out. Srila Prabhupada says that is the reason why we have to use our human bodies in spiritual service. That is the goal of human life, is how to use our work in spiritual service. He said we have to work in devotion. So Prabhu, can you go down in this verse a little bit, Prabhu, do you mind? After the Sanskrit. Yep, right there, perfect. So just now I was reading, I'm trying to find the line where I read and something, Gyan, the second paragraph, right? Therefore, Gyan or knowledge is not sufficient for liberation. One has to act in the status of spirit soul. Otherwise, there is no escape from material bondage. Now, Gyan means knowledge. All that we have learned is Gyan. What do we do with the knowledge? Very simple. Actually, it's not even rocket science. It's really simple. And if you see action in Krishna consciousness. So let's say, I can ask Habina, she's online. She's a medical doctor. If she had the theory of medical school and no practical, could she have practiced medicine? No. I mean, she cannot say, okay, I've gone to medical school, so I'm a doctor. No. She has to apply the knowledge in her residency, in her internship, or training, practicing, whatever in the hospital. Action. All of us, every one of us have gone through 4 years, 5 years, 6 years of bachelor's and master's. We got the knowledge. But after we get the knowledge, we have to act upon it. That is exactly the same principle in Krishna consciousness, is how to act in Krishna consciousness. So we have heard the Bhagavad Gita, we've attended so many classes, we have, we've participated in so many programs. We know the Gyan to some extent. But the next step is, how do we act on it? Like the Krishna Prabhu was mentioning, initially, the acting is the toughest. Why is it tough? Because it's easy to talk the talk, but it's very difficult to walk the talk, because the walking is the action part. So we can be chanting the best rounds, we can be the best kirtaniya, we can give the first class, lecture, we can, whatever. But if we do not use and apply that in action in Krishna consciousness, it's like useless. It's just like I've read all these books and I didn't apply it. Then what's the point of me reading the books? That's exactly what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Srila Prabhupada says, in every birth, we all have gone through so many lives, cycles of lives. I don't know how many, but we've gone through so many. I've gone through so many. In every birth, we get a father and a mother, and they're always different. But Srila Prabhupada says, this really caught my attention when I was reading it last night. Srila Prabhupada said, in every birth, we get a father and we get a mother. But in every birth, we cannot get Krishna and Guru. Why? Any answers? Karma. Because every birth is different karma. So Srila Prabhupada says, karma plays a role based on our previous life's activities, and based on the karma, we get the mercy. So every birth will have a different father, mother, but we won't get a guru and Krishna because of karma. So just imagine, if any of us And I believe one time I heard one devotee speaking that if any of us were to do a past life regression, we'll probably freak out. Because to know how many births we've gone through, what we did in the last life, it can be very scary. It can be really scary. But if we have come in contact with the devotees in this lifetime, that means we did some good spiritual pious activities in our last life to get the mercy to be with the devotees and to get to know Krishna and get to know Guru. So if we get that, we have to take it very, very seriously, because there's no guarantee we'll get it again. And once we get it, it's like take it or leave it. That's this very nice English, a proverb. Opportunity knocks, but only once on the door. And if it knocks one, open it. If not, that's it. It may not open again. So it's very important that once we get the mercy, so all of us here have gotten the mercy, and we should take the time and ask yourselves, how did I come to Berks Bhakti Yoga? It's by mercy of a devotee. But how did we get that mercy? Why is it that Krishna gave us that mercy through that devotee to bring me to Berks Bhakti Yoga? Because I probably did some pious activity in my last life. So now he said, okay, I'm going to give you a second chance, because, it carries on. So when we get that mercy, what should we do? We start watering the seed of devotional service, the Bhakti Lata Beach. And how do we water the seed of devotion? By performing devotional service. Action. It has to be in action. So by the more we perform devotional service, the more we are watering the seed of devotion in our heart. That's the watering process. That's when it begins. So Srila Prabhupada is saying we have to act. Acting in Krishna consciousness is very, very important, because that's the only way we'll understand what is Krishna consciousness. We can read all the books. There are so many books out there, so many philosophical books, so many religions, name it, endless. But to act on it is very important. So we have to apply ourselves in Krishna conscious activities. Stop the nonsensical activities. But in the same verse, Srila Prabhupada says, but renunciation doesn't mean you give up everything and become a Babaji. He didn't say that. He said that how do we use those things in service to the Lord? Right there. When persons eager to achieve liberation, renounce things. Now, renounce means what? Remember, giving it up, relinquishing, sacrificing. When persons eager to achieve liberation, renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, that renunciation is incomplete. Why? Because, for example, we are on Zoom. Is Zoom a material thing or a spiritual thing? It's a material thing. But who does it belong to? Krishna. So we are using Zoom in Krishna service. So we have to, rather than saying, oh, you know what, if I watch, this, anything material, for example, you say we got a fancy iPod, right? Actually, I won't even go there. Prabhupada, when Prabhupada was on the planet, devotees used to pick him up from the airport in a Jaguar, Rolls Royce. I mean, none of us have been in a Jaguar. I know I haven't been in a Jaguar and a Rolls Royce. You know, the best I've been is probably in a Benz, and that's about it. With one friend. But Prabhupada used to ride in a Jaguar. Devotees would go to the airport, pick him up in a Jaguar and a Rolls Royce. And one time, a news reporter asked him, Swamiji, you say you are a renunciate, and you say you're a monk, but you're riding in a Jaguar. He says, that belongs to Krishna. I'm using it in Krishna's service. I'm not gaining anything from it. It's Krishna. I'm using it in his service. Now imagine if Sri Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of a worldwide movement, spreading Krishna consciousness of the Lord, and Krishna is all opulent. He's all opulent. He's all attractive. He owns everything. And here, Sri Prabhupada is preaching about Krishna, that his all opulent, his magnificent, his beauty is far and wide. And Krishna comes in a rickshaw. Who is going to follow the movement? He'll say, Are Baba, you're telling me that Krishna is all opulent, but you're coming in a rickshaw. No, nobody will follow. Because it's not walking the talk. Because Krishna is all opulent. Krishna allowed the devotees to get the Rolls Royce and the Jaguar to pick him from the airport. He came in style because he's the founder Acharya. In that same mood, we have to use the things in service to the Lord. As Sri Prabhupada says, if we consider the material things to be material and not qualified to use in Krishna's service, then the whole purpose is incomplete. The whole understanding of Krishna consciousness is completely out of the window. And if you see in the next line, Sri Prabhupada says, renunciation is complete when it is in the knowledge that everything is in existence belongs to the Lord, and no one should claim proprietorship over anything. My house, my car, my laptop, my phone, my this, all my, right? Instead, let me use this in Krishna's service. When we use that in Krishna's service, action. When we use that in Krishna's service, that is called real renunciation. Giving it up and saying, oh, that is material, that is going to entangle me, I'm going to be very attached, I'm just going to go to the forest and trying to become a Babaji. That is not real. That is fake renunciation. Completely fake renunciation. The real renunciation is we use everything in Krishna's service and not claim proprietorship over it. Understanding that it belongs to the Lord. We have a very fine example before Prabhupada. Everything that Prabhupada did, he gave it for Krishna. He wore the same saffron kurta and dhoti. He didn't have anything fancy than that. In fact, I'm trying to think who shared the story. I think it was Vishnudana Prabhu, you know. He was sharing a story of Sri Prabhupada in India. You know, when, you know, in Vrindavan or Mayapur, I think it was in Vrindavan, one of the monkeys, there are a lot of monkeys in Vrindavan, and they stole Prabhupada's shoes. And his personal servant, Shrutakirti Prabhu, was trying to run after these monkeys, but he was afraid because the monkeys are very scary too. He was so scared to go fight with the monkeys to get Prabhupada's shoe back. So Prabhupada even told his servant, let me show you how to run after the monkey. So he ran, he said, come, you follow me, Shrutakirti. So the disciple followed Prabhupada to run after the monkey to get the monkey to give the shoe. But the monkey was so smart, the monkey didn't want to give the shoe. So Prabhupada said, I guess I don't have a shoe. I guess I have to go buy a shoe. So Shrutakirti Prabhu said, if I can get that monkey and get that shoe, I can keep the shoe as Maha and buy a different shoe for Prabhupada. So Shrutakirti took one of the local Bengali devotees to go after the monkey and got the shoe. Finally, they got the shoe and they gave it to Prabhupada, thinking that Prabhupada would say, yeah, the shoe is all torn, that the monkey has really eaten it really bad, get me a new shoe. When they brought the shoe to Prabhupada, there was only a little hole. Prabhupada says, Shrutikirti, this shoe is not that bad. You can fix it and I'll still wear it. That is Prabhupada. Prabhupada could have said, get me a new shoe. Everything he saw in Krishna's service, everything. Krishna, Prabhupada just wore the same dhoti, same kurta, nothing fancy, same, head cover, same coat, nothing fancy of Prabhupada. It's very simple. But everything he did, he wanted to show the world. He wanted to show people. Everything is owned by the Lord. So what Sri Prabhupada is saying, so to wrap up, Sri Prabhupada is saying, stop the nonsense activities of animalistic life and how to apply those activities to make it Krishna conscious. Because you have to act in one way or the other. If you stop all the material activities and there's no positive engagement of Krishna consciousness, then we become like a, what's the word? We become like a vagabond down the streets. Like, okay, what do I do now? What do I do now? We become completely lost. However, if we can dovetail, if we can use our present situation, acting in service to Krishna consciousness, using everything in Krishna's service, that is real renunciation. Action in Krishna consciousness, everything that we do. So renunciation in Krishna consciousness is complete. Renunciation without Krishna consciousness is incomplete. Use everything in Krishna's service. Why? Because everything belongs to Krishna. So each of us here that are on this call, there are 16 of us, including myself, there's 16 of us. Each of us have some kind of a material activity that we're engaged in, whether it be our job, whether we are housewives, whether we are a student, whether we are an engineer, a doctor, we all have a material activity that we are, 40 hours a week or more than that per week. If we remove Krishna consciousness from it, it's animal life. Sleeping, eating, mating, defending. Now, how can each one of us use our current material activity in service to the Lord, in action to Krishna consciousness? There are a lot of ways. We just got to come out of our comfort zone. We got to open up the box. Sometimes the box in our brain is like boxy and it's closed. We got to open it up and let the light bulb come out. There are many things we can do with our lives, so many things. How can we using our current material situation in Krishna's service is real renunciation? How do we do that? Prabhupada says very, very clearly, very, very clear, renunciation is complete when it is acknowledged that everything in existence belongs to the Lord. So all our jobs belongs to the Lord. Whether we have a full-time job, or whether we are housewives, whether we are a student, it all belongs to the Lord. And we shouldn't claim that it's ours, but how do we use that? And he says, one should understand that factually. Nothing belongs to anyone. If that is the case, then where is the question of renunciation? Where is the point of, okay, I'm going to give up everything and go to the forest? That is fake renunciation. He never said to give it up. If you see, Prabhupada has never once said, oh, give it up and go to the forest. Even Prabhupada himself did not do that. He came on the flight, on the boat, Jahaduta, to come to America. Prabhupada never went to the forest. He used what he was given by his spiritual master. He used his, Prabhupada went to law school. So he understood law very well. He went to a British law school. He was very affluent in English. So what did he do with his English? He wrote articles. He was the one that showed the Back to Godhead magazine. He wrote Bhagavad Gita. He was the one that translated the Bhagavad Gita to English because Prabhupada used his knowledge in Krishna's service. He never said, oh, you know what? I went to law school. I can play the mridanga. Yes, I can do all this. I'll just give up everything, go to the forest. He never did that. He used all his material knowledge in Krishna's service and became the founder Acharya. So the perfect form of action in Krishna consciousness is far better. So it's a very good assignment for each one of us to really take time and think and ask ourselves and ask yourself, this is my current material position. How can I use that in Krishna consciousness, knowing very well that it belongs to the Lord? Whether we are an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, a student, a housewife, a business, whatever it is, it all belongs to Krishna because, let's face it, if it wasn't for Krishna, we wouldn't be any of those today. Even the knowledge comes from the Lord. So we have to ask ourselves is, how can I use that in Krishna's service? How can I really use everything? Because when we use everything that the Lord has given us, it's an offering to Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna. We give it back in service to the Lord. That is real renunciation. So that is my concluding point, is if we have no engagement in Krishna in spiritual activities, then we have to come back to the material world. Then we cannot stop. Then again, we think, okay, how do I feed my mind, this and that? But in order to use our current situation in Krishna's service, see, it says that everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. Very simple. It's really not rocket science. What makes it complicated is our mind. That's it. It's the mind that says, oh, but how? Oh, the mind can give us a million excuses, but it will never give us the answer. The mind is very good with that. Expert. It'll give us, oh, you have to sit home. Oh, why do you want to do this? Oh, why do you want to just sit in your comfort zone? Oh, it'll give you a million excuses, but it will never tell you how to come out of a comfort zone. That will be the intelligence. The mind will say, no, you are very comfortable. You just sit in your spot and just relax. It's okay. Don't do service. It's okay. No. Prabhupada says very clearly, everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. So my humble request to each and every one of us here tonight, do, take time to evaluate yourselves. Take time to ask yourself, this is what I have gotten from the Lord. I'm a housewife. What can I do as a housewife in service to the Lord? I am an accountant. What can I do with that in service? How can I employ that in service to the Lord? Action in Krishna consciousness. I am a doctor. How can I use that? How can I employ that in service to the Lord? Ask ourselves that. And it's a very serious question to ask, because it is only by that can we engage ourselves in devotional service. Because if not, we just come every Friday, we just hear the class and we just chant and we just read, and then we go back and again back to square one. Then tick, 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 tick. Then again, next Friday, again, cycle back to square one. And then it just becomes into a cycle. So we have to ask ourselves, I can do this, I can do that. I can do this. Anything small, but use some kind of whatever the Lord has given. Even if you have a talent, say one of us, is very good in, say, baking cakes. Use that to bake cakes and give it in service to the Lord. Feed the homeless. There's so many things we can do with that. There are many things we can do. Probably, some of us can play cartels or something. We can teach the other kids. We can engage. Think of what we can use in service, because that is what Sri Prabhupada is saying. Sri Prabhupada is saying, don't give it up. Use that in Krishna service. Employ it in the service of the Lord. That's my concluding point. If there are any questions or comments, please do ask. If I've said anything wrong, please forgive me. Hope I didn't step on anyone's toes. But this is a very nice verse.
Wonderful, Mataji. It was really power-packed verse, purport. I started making notes of the purport when we were reading it, and then I gave up because each line was, I was supposed to write them. So I thought I need to go back to the purport and read it. So thank you so much for bringing up so many wonderful points. So I will really request devotees to ask any questions you may have or any comments, anything that is not clear, we might need more clarification. We all are students. So please feel free to unmute yourself. I see Anil Uncle, Pita Auntie, Ajay Prabhu, Nina Mataji, Anita Mataji, Bhavya, Beena Mataji, Govind, Madhu Mataji, Mamina Mataji, Ram Babu Prabhu, Tunga Vidya, Vishakha, and Vrinda. So it's a very nice association of devotees. When we ask questions, it helps others also.
The answers are all in this verse. It's beautiful. Every single line. It's just amazing.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I want to
Haribol.
ask something. Sorry
Please.
about that.
No, please don't apologize. We are here to serve you. Please.
Like today's class was very, very nice. I mean, it's mind-blowing. Absolutely. I'm so energized after the class. I was feeling so lazy and dull. And then now my eyes have really opened up.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. It's all by the mercy of the Lord. Actually, it's by all of your mercy, because you guys give each other energy, and then I can feel it through Zoom. I'm getting more energized myself.
But so I would also like to share my experience. Like I have been listening to Nectar of Devotion for this entire week. And then one thing I have noticed when Srila Prabhupada starts his lecture, before that he does kirtan. So when he is sitting and singing, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, whenever the lecture starts, I just observe his eyes are so still.
Yes.
His eyes are so still. Yes. And when he is doing kirtan, we can feel the vibration that he doesn't need anything in return.
Not at all.
And he's so grateful, humble. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know. I'm just so moved. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I really don't know how I came here. Sometimes I wonder how things are happening with me like this. Yeah. Every night when I go to sleep, I ask, what I have done that I'm here, and how to utilize this,
that's a very nice meditation that you do every night. Because
I don't know, I just feel like it is so overwhelming for me sometimes. Not sometimes, every night it is so overwhelming, because I learn so much. And I don't know how to express. I have so many things.
It's I would like to you're relishing it. It's really, really nice.
And I would like to come back to
for me, yes, please go ahead. Share with me.
Like to come back to the point that you said, like take out your time and write at least one thing or reflect what you are doing. And I do that every night, and I become so frustrated. Wonderful. Because I feel I should have someone who could give me some feedback. What is my progress today? Did I do something? Not do something? I mean, I don't know, that all those thoughts that keep in my mind goes about like that. But I seriously regret that I do not have anyone who can tell me at the end of the day that one thing or half thing or one word that I did something good.
I'll work with you. I'll serve you. I'll be your buddy.
Sometimes it's so frustrating because all the day is gone and you are looking up to someone who can tell you something, right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that.
No,
I just feel like that.
And see, and that is the reason why Srila Prabhupada says, anything to do in Krishna consciousness, we have to do it with the devotees. Because when you do it alone, it becomes very lonely. It becomes like, oh my God, but I don't have a buddy, you know, I don't have someone to guide me. And then you feel like you're in this bubble all by yourself. And that's why he's always saying sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha, sadhu. Every single time is sadhu sangha, because it's only by the mercy of the devotees. That's no other way. Das, anudas. And the devotees are kalpavriksha trees. You know, they are desire trees and they're always desiring good for others, right? So it's very important that we always reach out to a devotee that we feel comfortable, that we can talk to, we can share. You know, one of the 6 loving exchanges is revealing one's mind in confidence. That is stated in the Nectar of Instruction. So we have to feel, okay, who can I go to and reveal my mind in confidence without even being, like, I can tell this person and he or she will not judge me. That's a true devotee friend that can really walk you through, that can, you know, we're going to walk this journey together, you know. That is Krishna consciousness, you know, always working. Like, I remember when I first became a devotee, I joined when I was very young. And at that time, you know, I wasn't a cook, and this might surprise many devotees. I was not a cook. The only thing that I could cook at that time was dal. And that too, my dal wasn't that great. My dad used to always make fun. He says, I have to swim in the dal to find the vegetables. He would always tell me that because it was such a bad dal, you know. But then when I became a devotee, I used to ask myself, you know, what can I do? Because before I became a devotee, when I was born in a Christian family. So from a very age itself, you know, young people, the youth will always engage in some service in a church. So I was engaged in teaching Sunday school at the age of 13, 14, very young age. I was in the choir. I was a church librarian. I was always taught, now how can I use whatever I have in God's service? So when I became a devotee, I said, there's no library here. You know, there's no Sunday school here. So, and plus I don't know, I'm just a new devotee. I don't know anything Krishna. What can I do? I said, I can cook. But I wasn't a good cook. So what I learned was I used to use Mother Jamuna's cookbook, Lord Krishna's cuisine. And so I asked one of my god sisters, I would like to cook the Sunday feast once a month. So I used to try the cooking at home first and see if it's edible, you know, before I cook for the devotees. And then I just learned cooking, you know, in large quantities. And that was my first service. In fact, my first Sunday feast to cook was for like about 100 people. And I was 21 years of age at that time. And that's when I learned. And then when I came to Gita Nagari, my first service was to fry pakoras for 500 people at Rath Yatra. I was like, oh, Krishna. But yeah, we just find just one thing. If we have a talent of cooking, we have a talent of sewing, we have, you know, marketing, publishing, teaching, anything, whatever the Lord has given us. How do we use that one thing in Krishna's service? That is renunciation. Because I can guarantee you that if we start using one thing at a time, next thing you know, we'll be fully engaged. And there is nothing better than being fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. That is real renunciation. That is real renunciation, is how we can think of one thing. So I humbly request all the devotees, think of one thing, you know, if you can sing, okay, let's learn some bhajans of the Vaishnava acharyas, you know, any of the ISKCON bhajans, let's learn to sing it. Or if you can cook, great, let's cook something and distribute. Or if you can do, you know, like I know for the temple, I always engage Suvrat. You know, I don't know if many of you know, but I really engage Suvrat and Vishaka, but more so Suvrat now because my second daughter is pretty busy. So I engage Suvrat in creating flyers for the temple festivals. So all the festivals, you know, majority of the flyers that you see is done by Suvrat. Now, how many of us know that there's 15? What is he, 15 or 16, Prabhu, your son?
15.
15. Okay.
I'm
So,
glad. Yeah.
you know, how many of us would think that a 15-year-old boy can use that desire and interest of creating flyers for the temple? Something small like that, you know? Yeah, and we shouldn't think, oh, but I'm not qualified. The more actually, it is good to think that we're not qualified, but the more we think we are not qualified, not only it's good in one way because we're trying to be humble, but at the same time is, are we limiting ourselves to the Lord's service? How to engage it? Anything small. We don't have to be, you know, a seamstress, you know, even if we can do simple, you know, Mataji, probably I can sew the curtain for Prabhupada's Vyasa, something, whatever, something small. There's always so much to do. But just think of one thing, and we all are blessed with more than one. We all, you know, working professionals, but just one thing. What can I use? One thing that the Lord has given me. How can I employ that in service to the Lord? That is real renunciation. That is real renunciation. That is pretty much Krishna consciousness. And once you know one thing, then next thing you'll know, you'll be doing two. Next thing, like, I mean, when I first joined Krishna consciousness, I was not a leader in any way. I was this typical wife, you know, just cook and clean the house. And that was, I was not a leader, but by my, you know, my seniors, my guru engaged me in service. The next thing I knew, I became this. They just pushed me. They helped me to be aware, you know, I can use this thing, I can use that thing. How to engage that little thing in Krishna service. Very, very important that we really understand this concept of action in Krishna consciousness. Very, very important. Any other comments or questions? You know, Prabhu, what I would suggest is probably you can, and this might be, you know, what's the American slang, shooting myself in the foot or something. There's a phrase that they say. I was going to suggest that probably you can create a survey to ask the devotees if they can think of one thing of themselves that they can employ in service. Just one. We all have it. We all have it. Because if we say we don't have it, it's just like saying Krishna zero. It's all coming from Krishna. We cannot say we don't have it. We have something. Because it's coming, because we are part and parcel of the Lord. So we have to have something. So if we have one thing, let's think, okay, how can I use that in action in Krishna consciousness? I think that would be a good thing to do, Prabhu. Just if we, you know.
Absolutely, Mataji, because if we go more deeper into it, because whatever you were saying and Mamina Mataji was saying, actually, if we think about it, it's very deep. As you said, we all have at least something to offer to Krishna, and it has to be because that's why we are connected to him. Yes. And that's the process where we start taking up one service, second service, third service, and we realize our true identity in that way eventually by mercy of Krishna and devotees. That is only possible through the medium of service. Otherwise,
absolutely.
So no. It was a very wonderful point that you reminded us.
In fact, also one point that now you are reminding me is that the more from one thing to two, to if the more we increase ourselves in service, the more we will feel that we are das anudas. And the more we will feel that, oh my God, everything in me is completely in the Lord's service. What more can I ask? Like, what more? Like, you know, I wake up, I think of the, you know, this, I go to bed, I'm thinking of this, like your mind is completely thinking of this and this and this and service. So like my guru used to always tell us that we should be using whatever we have been given by the Lord in employing ourselves in service, that we don't have time for Maya. There is no time for Maya. We are fully engaged. That and that, like Dr. Prabhu said, by that, then we'll know my real identity is das anudas. Only through service. There's no shortcut. There's no shortcut.
So while other devotees might be still thinking about some questions, I have few things that
Yes,
I would like to take up your time. I know you're so busy.
No, it's fine.
So when you were talking about how Srila Prabhupada used to utilize each and everything, whether like an example of the shoes, the torn shoes and everything. So the memories came to me when Gurudev comes here, like when he stays in the home in Reading, and if he finds any lights are on, any room, and nobody is there, he will just shout, you know, why these lights are. So they are, it's natural that it comes to them. And then I said, wow, you know, what's the deal? And then you think, oh, well, of course, whatever you will save, you can use that money in the service of Krishna. And everything is Krishna's energy. So little things like that, you know, we can prepare our consciousness. So it is all mercy of Guru and devotees that they force you to think about that. So thank you for reminding me of those memories. Yeah. One question I have is, in the beginning, the first verse, when we were discussing, a point came where we said, or we discussed, everything should be around Krishna. Mm-hmm. So sometimes this is not understood well in my mind. What does it really mean to keep Krishna in the center? Sometimes we might still be doing those other activities, thinking we are keeping Krishna in the center. So sometimes that bewilders me.
Good, very nice question. Yes, sometimes we are not clear of how to see Krishna. So one thought just came to my mind when His Holiness Rittadvaja Swami gave class in April on Zoom. Your son Suvrat asked the same question. And he asked Maharaj, I'm a student, how can I see Krishna in school? Like, you know, because I'm going to school. So Maharaj says, does your school have a water fountain? He says, yes. So he said, when you go to the water fountain, when you drink the water, it's Krishna. He says, when you're going to school and you're doing subjects, he said, that knowledge came from Krishna. When we're working for me, I'm in finance, you know, and I deal with numbers. And one might say, numbers has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. But I see this, by working this job, I'm able to supply the material needs of my family so that my family and I can serve the Lord by doing more service. It's a constant reminder, because what we have to do, Prabhu, is we always have to bog our minds. Sometimes our minds become very complacent. We take it for, you know, like, I got a job. Yeah, well, I got to go to work. Yeah. No, we have to take the tools, the plier, the hammer, the screwdriver, and really dig into the minds and says, why am I doing this? We have to ask, why am I doing this? And find Krishna in it. You know, again, like when Maharaj told Suvrat, you know, your school has a water fountain. Why drinking water? I'm thirsty. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the quench, I am the thirst or some, yeah, chapter 15. Krishna. Yeah. I'm thirsty. Krishna is the quencher of the thirst. So everything we see, even when we smell the flower, right? The Lord says, I am the fragrance. It's really trying to make our mind and say, where do I see Krishna? And we honestly have to ask ourselves, you know, Krishna, where are you? How can I see you? How can I see you in this? How can I see you in this? Like really take time to ask, okay, let me see. If I work this job, any job, how can I see Krishna in it? Like, Krishna Prabhu, you're a fine example. You know, you do marketing, but when there's a service in the temple, you will use your professional training in doing some, you know, marketing stuff for the temple. You're trying to find something in Krishna, something. Krishna is in everything. We just have to look. Like the other day, I was watching, once in a while, I watched this Telugu serial. It's about one acharya, like, I don't know how many centuries ago. And my husband used to tell me, and he still does sometimes, oh, why do you guys watch this? I said, because the wittiness of this guy, how he handles the situation, believing God. So, and because that one didn't have subtitles, so my husband thought, oh my God, we're just wasting time. So one of the series had English subtitles. He saw it and he says, now I know why. This guy is very witty. I said, yeah, but you see, he's always taking the name of God. How to see Krishna? It's very important how to see Krishna, you know, because Krishna is everywhere. Krishna is it, but we have to ask ourselves, do we want to see Krishna? That's the thing we have to, because some people, to be very frank with you, don't want to see the Lord because we're scared. Oh, if I see the Lord, if I'm doing something wrong, oh my God, he's going to come blast me tonight. So some of us might ask, do we really want to see the Lord? And the Lord will reveal himself if we sincerely want to see the Lord in everything we do. That's one very, very simple thing. Like sometimes, you know, sometimes I see devotees, sometimes they put the Bhagavad Gita on the floor, you know. And in the old days, my God, I remember my guru was pick the book off the floor, don't, you know, because to us, that's knowledge, that's Krishna. In fact, forget the Bhagavad Gita. Even we don't put paper on the floor. Why? Because all the writings is knowledge. Knowledge is Krishna. So it's really trying to take time to really see where is Krishna in all this. And you will find Krishna. But we have to really look for the Lord. The Lord is there. Sometimes he's hiding because he wants to play hide and seek. Because he wants to know, you know, you really want me, come and find me. You know, catch me if you can. So yeah, I hope I answered your question, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Wonderful answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So anyone, we can still take one question if anyone has anything before we go to the next part. Okay, sounds like no one has any question. So thank you so much.
If no one has any questions, I'm assuming that they are going to find one thing that they can employ in service to the Lord. And they have to come and tell Dear Krishna Prabhu before the end of the year, since we are 2 months away, what that one thing is that they can employ in service to the Lord. Is that a thumbs up or a raised hand? I don't see any raised hands on Zoom. I guess...
yeah, there's an option where you can put thumbs up or raise your hands.
Or say yes on that little thick thing.
Unmute yourself and say
Bhavya,
yes.
I know you better. I have service for you. Just come back to the temple. I have service for you. But Bhavya's ready to do service anytime.
Okay.
But yeah, please, you know, find ways to employ yourself in service to the Lord. Very important. Only then can we understand, because once you move forward, after chapter 5, it gets deeper. If we don't understand chapter 5 now, everything else forward is going to be mumbo jumbo. It's just going to be, you know, gibberish. We got to really get the chapter 5, you know, action part down, like really down. Go ahead, program. Sorry.
No, good. Thank you, Mataji. So thank you so much, Mataji. I know you are so busy with your temple responsibilities, zonal ISKCON thing, regional thing, and global thing, whatever.
Thank you.
But you're so merciful for us and always.
No, thank you for thinking of me.
So thank you. And it was really wonderful to hear from you today.
Yeah, I'm happy that I can see you. I haven't seen you for months. My gosh, I'm feeling,
hopefully
anxiety separation.
Hopefully very, very soon. So we can move to the next part. And because this is very special month of Pururshottam, we have been singing these beautiful prayers by Srila Bil Mangal Thakur, Shri Shri Chorashtakam. And I requested on the group if anyone else would like to sing. I didn't get any response, so I will request Bhavya to sing that, and I will share the bhajan. Give me a second. Okay, hopefully everyone can see it. I will increase the font size in a second. Bhavya, whenever you're ready, you can start.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can start.
Raja Prashitham Navanita Choram Gopangananam Chadukula Choram Raja Prashitham Navanita Choram Gopanganam Chadukula Choram Adhika Janmarjita Papajoram Chauragaganya Purusham Namami Adhika Janmarjita Papajoram Chauragaganya Purusham Namami Shiradikaya Vidascha Choram Navangula Shamala Kanti Choram Shiradikaya Vidascha Choram Navangula Shamala Kanti Choram Padashitanam Chantamasta Choram Chauragaganyam Purusham Padashitanam Chantamasta Chauragaganyam Purusham Namami Ankechani Kita Padashitam Yam Karoti Bhiksham Patagyahinam Akinchani Krita Padashitam Yam Karoti Bhiksham Patagyahinam Kinakiyahoti Shana Chauraitra Drishta Shutovana Jagatrayati Drishta Shutovana Jagatrayati Yadi Ainamati Harati Ashisham Giri Prasharana Vipaparashi Yadi Ainamati Harati Ashisham Giri Prasharana Vipaparashi Ashtarya Rupana Nujauraitra Drishta Shutovana Maya Kadapi Ashtarya Rupana Nujauraitra Drishta Shutovana Maya Kadapi Dhanam Chamarnam Chata Tityani Pranam Chahitva Mama Sarvameva Dhanam Chamarnam Chatandriyani Pranam Chahitva Mama Sarvameva Palaya Shikotudito Atyalchora Tvam Bhakti Damna Shivaya Niruta Palaya Shikotudito Nayachora Tvam Bhakti Damna Shivaya Niruta Chintasi Gaura Yam Pashabandha Chintasi Bhimam Bhava Pashabandha Chintasi घोरं यं पाशबन्धं लीनसीमां भगपाशबन्धं चेतसि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धं नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धं चेतसि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धं नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धं मनमनाशि तमसराशि घोर काराग्रहे दुःखमाया निबध्य मनमनाशि तमसराशि घोर काराग्रहे दुःखमाया निबध्य लाभस्वहे चौरहरि चिराया स्वचौर्यदोष्टितमेव दान्तम् लाभस्वहे चौरहरि चिराया स्वचौर्यदोष्टितमेव दान्तम् कागहे विषे सदा हृदय मध्ये मद्भक्ति पाशद्विदबन्धन निश्चलसाम् त्वं कृष्ण हे प्रलय कोटि शतान्तरे अपि सर्वस्य चौरा हृदय नहि मोच्यामि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चौराष्टकम की
Yeah. Thank you, Bhavya. So thank you for singing. And this is a very auspicious, these are very auspicious prayers. And I will request and encourage if anyone would like to sing in the future Fridays, at least in this Pururshottam Maas. We have probably maybe one more Friday left, I think. So please let me know if you would like to sing on next Friday. And next we can go to Nrsimha prayers and pray for all the devotees, for each other, everybody's families. The times are still very, if not so difficult, they are still not very comfortable for all. So let's keep praying for each other. And I was expecting Anya to be there. She requested to sing today, but I think she couldn't make it. So maybe I can request Vishaka or Vrinda. I'm putting you on the spot, but if you can sing in your lovely voice. Now, both the sisters are here, so I don't want to pick one of them. I will let them pick each other. Maybe they are discussing or maybe fighting, I don't know.
Shaka, go ahead.
Thank you.
Shaka's right in front of me, so she can do it.
Thank you.
Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadai Hiranyakashipurvakyaha Hiratankanakalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade Tavakar Kamala Varenakam Adbhuta Sringham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. O Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jaya Narsimhadev, 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 Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Vishnudev Bhagavan ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Vishaka. Thank you so much for taking care of Narasimha prayers. And I just shared once again, because we are still in Pururshottam Maas. Again, it's a sale season for Bhakti. As much as we can, accumulate in this season, the more the better. So please keep chanting. The benefits are 1,000 times more than Kartik month. And it comes, this Pururshottam Maas comes every 3 years or so, right? So it is the month of Krishna, very, very potent, very, very merciful. So we can increase our devotional service in any form. A lot of things we discussed in today's session also. So please feel encouraged, feel inspired, somehow get the inspiration. Maybe, talk to somebody, get some inspiration, do something, but don't let go of this sale. This will come again after 3 years, but who knows what will happen in those 3 years to us, right? So the good thing is Kartik is coming soon, but again, we should not wait for tomorrow for Bhakti. And our Bhakti should be continuous. It should be continuous. It's not like one day we do a lot of Bhakti and second, third day, fourth day, the whole week is gone. And then again on Sunday, we do the Bhakti. It should be constant. So thank you so much for joining today. We really appreciate your association, because in the association of devotees only, all the topics of Krishna, they are relished. So thank you so much again. And just as a reminder, every day morning, we have a beautiful Bhagavatam classes going on from 8 a.m. till 8:40 or 8:45 a.m. You can just switch on your mobiles, cell phones, computers, just listen in the background. Or if you're available, you can actively participate in those calls. And of course, in the evenings also, we have classes Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. A few devotees have been joining, and we are really, really enjoying both the sessions, morning and evenings. It's beautiful to be in Krishna consciousness. So thank you once again. Thank you for joining, and we will see you on next Friday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Prabhuji, where can I listen to that bhajan that we sang today, Chaurashtakam?
Okay, so I did share yesterday, probably in the group. I will reshare that.
Okay.
And it is a YouTube video, so you can listen to the tune also.
Yeah.
And maybe I will request you next Friday.
Let's see if I can learn.
Haribol, done deal. So I will also send you the link to the text, and then you will have a video also. And it's a beautiful, beautiful bhajan. And if you will read the meaning of the bhajan, you will feel very inspired. It's very nice.
Thank you very much. And Bhavya, you sang really well, really well.
Thank you, Mataji.
So we'll hear from you, Mataji, next Friday. Thank you so much for volunteering.
Hopefully.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.